Welcome to 1407 Grimalkin Lane. This is the living member of the X-Men. Don't let anyone tell you different. Okay, I am here with a round table of some great minds, some great X-Men minds. And we're going to talk about the year in review. What's been, like, how was it? To my, wait, all right, this is my right. Okay, to my right, we got my man, Monarch, at, to,
Monarch
okay,
Daffy.
yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to host. Below me, we have the husband-wife duo, the Scott and Jean of the X-Men podcast universe. I could do better. I could do better. The Sam Guthrie and Izzy Kane. I was gonna say Mystique and Destiny, but that'd be kind of an insult. Really? That
I'd take that.
The Remy and Anna Marie.
I mean,
LeBeau.
I like you guys way more than Destiny and Mystique.
Justin and Alicia of the Ex-Wife podcast. Thank you for coming in, you guys. And to my left, we have X-Men blogger Red X. Let's get it. Whew. How we doing, everybody? What's up? Like, how's the X-Men to you? Like I don't know. I'm just sprouting words right now. I'm excited. Giddy. Oh,
X-Men are great. Great.
Excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. All right. So I guess my first question, what was your favorite moment this year?
Kitty Pryde killing people.
Anybody want to go first?
With that one.
I feel like that's a general consensus all around that the releasing of Ninja Shadowcat and just going ham on the Orcus rooftop in Jerusalem.
Yeah,
that was
for
crazy.
Me. That's the highlight of the year.
Yes.
Can you imagine that live action? Just,
I love how that scene is a callback to that scene in Marauders when she's fighting the Russians.
Yeah.
It's great.
And also, I think a callback to House of X #1, because isn't that the same rooftop that they're on?
Yes.
In the Jerusalem habitat?
Jerusalem, right? Yeah. That's where Magneto says, like, you have new gods now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bringing it all to that.
Yep.
I like to put on the cosplay and imagine I'm doing it in live action. So
just imagine, like, that'd be so. Imagine you're just like an Orcus guard, like, this is your first day, like, I just got here for the benefits, and then all of a sudden your head is inside a wall.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad for them at all.
No.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Maybe vet the company you're gonna work for a little bit before you decide to have your first day with them.
Yeah, it's like saying you feel bad for a Hydra goon getting murdered, or someone from AIM, or someone else. Like, well,
had it coming.
You're a Nazi. Sorry, like, really care if you die.
It was for
kind of sign that paperwork. You're kind of asking, like, well, if anyone finds out, they're going to try and kill me, or I'm going to be ostracized. So yeah, well, whatever, fuck it.
Can you imagine these goons having a really good recruitment campaign, like the military? They're set up in high school. So like, hey, you don't have to join the military. Be a goon.
Well, Taskmaster used to have that school where he used to train people to join, all those organizations.
Oh my god, that's so funny. There's so
much
much comedy.
I'm sure it has some recruitment tactics for sure.
Wait, so was that everybody's favorite moment? That was like across the board.
Hands down.
We're all like,
I'm
personal side favorite for me would be Sammy coming back, Squid Boy.
Oh yeah.
I really liked seeing him come back. That was like my little holy shit, he's actually back.
Red X, what's yours? What was yours?
You know me, Shadowcat just killing some people.
Okay, all right. You know what? Sabretooth. Like, I was going back on it, and like, Sabretooth is my favorite moment was when he was talking to the doppelganger, said like, hey, a friend of mine's birthday is coming up. We should go throw a party for him. I'm like, Sabretooth, you are the Eric Cartman, but you are hilarious. You are so funny. Like,
I'm excited for that story personally. I
Just-
think that's a cool way to end out the Wolverine run.
and the best part about it is Wolverine has no idea it's coming.
Right.
Last couple of years, I haven't had to deal with Sabretooth at all. And then he's gonna come out of nowhere and just punch him in the face. Like, surprise!
And from multiple angles with several different versions of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Sabretooth
of them
beat
have
down.
missing their heads.
Yeah.
I saw the preview art. They do have a bunch of Sabretooths with no heads attacking him. So they kept
Yeah.
this part from the last part of Sabretooth and the Exiles intact, at least.
I just imagine Wolverine's like, oh my god, the nightmare, it's happening. He's probably had a nightmare about this a couple of times.
I think there's a part of him that secretly really will be super excited about it. He'll be like,
Yes.
yeah, I love fighting you.
Finally
My
remember
question
birthday.
is, what's gonna happen between Logan and gender bend Sabretooth, Vicky, Victoria, Creed?
Ooh, that's interesting. Because
Intrigue.
he does like to hook up with-
Because on the one hand, it's a Sabretooth. On the one hand, it's Logan.
Well,
um,
These are
he's murdered a bunch of his kids already. Why not make another one to murder later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
At
so-
least with this, we get a likely chance of Saber Claw being canon.
Saber Claw. Oh, that's rough.
Get from the
All right.
comics.
So
too.
MC2 joke.
oh, all right.
Mhm.
So, like, how would you describe this year? I mean, like, I would say that we saw like a lot of I mean, they call this the Destiny of X, and I think Destiny probably took center stage of everything. She was a main component. Even like I'm surprised she wasn't like she's not in a book, but she was in every book. Almost like damn near like right like how do you guys see like how do you guys see the year in review? Monarch?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it was really depends on what book you're reading for Destiny. Like my favorite was X-Men Red. And so for me, like the main characters that really stood out to me would have been Storm and Sunspot, especially Sunspot, because he's back to the way that like Hickman used to write him with the Avengers, where he was doing all these sneaky things, but then being this, like playboy, and he's got the money, he's got the looks, and he's being, he's hitting on everyone, and he's getting drunk, and you're going, oh, this guy's a clown. And then you turn around, he's got an army ready to kill you, and you're going, what the fuck just happened here? So for me, I kind of like, because I preferred that book, like those two characters the most really stood out to me a lot. Exodus, I thought, was another one that really took his stuff to another level with his admiration of one of my most hated characters, Hope, but keeping them alive in the white hot room and everything else. I thought Exodus was another like really main important character for the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. I also kind of feel like this year was sort of a roller coaster of emotions, because there were like moments when I was really happy with things that were going on, and then moments when I was really disappointed with things that were going on. And also leading up to where we are now with the fall of X, like it's a bittersweet moment of being somewhat scared and somewhat excited about what's about to come next. And as a person who came into comics in the Krakoan age, like knowing that thing that I hold so dear in my heart is no longer the standard is a little bit scary, but also exciting. I think like as a big Magic fan, I feel like she had some really great moments, and then some moments where I feel like she could have been, characterized a little bit better. I would definitely agree that Exodus finally had his moment. Like he was one of the council members that I feel like wasn't really, he was there to be disagreeing with other things that were going on, but wasn't really getting to like shine. And so I think he's definitely had moments to step up, which are really cool. And then you have like big events, right? Like was AXE this year? That's my other
Wasn't
problem.
No.
Yeah, was this year, wasn't it?
Everything blurs.
Oh, fuck.
No, we
But,
we
like-
had a Sense of Sinister.
Sinister Sinister was this year.
Oh, that's
but like,
right. That took
Dark
off forever, and
Knight.
then we had a couple
Or the
month
end of
hiatus
Dark Knight.
between this and the fall. Yeah.
yeah, so I got a lot of things that I really wanted. Like I've been saying since I first saw Rasputin in Hoxpox that like I wanted her back, and I really wanted her and Zorn to come out of their black hole, but that's like I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. But to get Rasputin and to see her develop as a character, loved that. But then to have the book that was originally my favorite book, Marauders, like completely go in a different direction and not really be a book I enjoyed at all anymore was a downer. So
You
yeah, I'm gonna
wanted
stick
to
with my
like
original
But
statement.
look at the bright
roller
side.
coaster.
Look at the bright side. Now Rasputin can be with her two moms, Magic and Kate.
Yeah.
Yes. And they can be one amazing family.
And
Look,
Marauders.
I
is
don't
great.
care if Rasputin is half Colossus. That sword got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Colossus is a lie.
Justin, you were about to say something?
Well, and Marauders ended too, so that was a highlight.
Oh yeah, that
Uh,
was great. I
But,
interviewed Stephen Orlando in like I really wanted to be nice about it. I kind of tiptoed around it. Like it could have been so. I don't know. I got nothing.
I get the feeling that he had plans to expand that run, that there was just too much big thinking, big ideas, big across the world type things across time, to really just land in a 12-issue arc, and then it wasn't selling, so they cut it and he ramped it all to the end. Honestly, I feel like the one issue, and it wasn't even this year, it was last year, it was the Judgment Day issue. That was the only one that I was like, oh, I like this one. When Birdie came back and she was doing all the kind of triaging and therapy with people.
That was cool.
I don't think the art helped it either, though, because when the story is not that good and then the art is hard on your eyes and you're not enjoying the writing and you're looking at the art and you're going, shit, like it kind of kills you. Because I can, if a book is not written well, but the art's really good, at least it makes it fun.
Yeah.
But when both are not firing, it's just like, oh, this is painful. It's like when I was reading, what was it? New Mutants towards the end of that run, and then the Lethal Legion. I didn't like the writing, and the art wasn't for my liking either. It felt like I was watching or not watching, but reading like Scooby-Doo, but with an X-Men uniform. That's what it kind of felt like reading it, and I was just kind of like, oh, this sucks.
No, I kind of felt that way around like for Captain Britain. I just kind of like, I was just so upset about it. Like you could do so much more with this character. Like,
well, of
you made
course you
Rachel-
were disappointed. They're all terrible.
No, but no, I wanted more for
Fuck
Rachel.
the Braddocks.
I wanted
Fuck the
more-
Braddocks.
No, the Braddocks are amazing. The Braddocks are great.
I know what I said.
Brian is great. He survived. He overcame alcoholism, like with no help, and he felt, and he's very self-aware of what he's doing, and he's a great husband and father. Like
now,
It's
He
work.
was shit in the beginning.
Excalibur only existed because of Roma's mind games.
Say it as
Rova,
a
Saturn was it Saturn 9, one of them that wanted to bone him.
Oh,
he had a
he
very
said no every time.
I feel like the problem could have easily solved itself, and I know Gray Malkin knows this because it's in our interview with 2014 Magneto on YouTube now. Tell all your friends.
Love the plug.
The problem could have easily been solved if she went with literally any other variant. You have billions, trillions of this person literally at your beck and call.
You want the one who
Heck,
wants.
She could have ended up with Brianna or Bree, whatever the female equivalent is. Heck, she could have gotten with a Megan just to mess with them. She could have gotten with a Megan just to mess with them.
That would have,
and it would have ended the war by 5 years. It saved readers trillions of lives and money.
All right, next question. How did you feel about the Hellfire Gala this year? All right, Red X, I'm starting with you. I'll go with you. Yeah, really?
Yes. it traumatized me. It was so bad. I had to quit writing fan fiction for a week.
Jeez, that's rough.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And then I took out my rage out on the writing, by the way. I had like two fics where one was about Maddie's rage and feeling Jean die and stuff. And the other one in Even in Death, I couldn't get any rest, was basically Destiny just bringing back Magneto because she sensed Gambit dying during that Excalibur run with Excalibur, and it was like, oh no, my daughter's awful husband's gonna die. Let's bring out the ex-boyfriend and the clone of that guy just in case the first plan goes wrong.
That's rough.
And then later on, somehow it became about, I put Maddie on the council because things just went out of control at this point.
Let's just lead into
Seriously, I literally had Maddie just come right in just when Celine's about to like sit down, and Maddie's like, yeah, no, this is my seat now. And then somehow Maddie goes on this For the Children campaign where she's trying to help all these mutants who lost their kids, like Dean Madrox and Katie Summers.
Oh wow.
Fighting Kang, and then somehow Maddie finds out about the future event of the Hellfire Gala, and then tells Erica she's the only council member she knows will get shit done. Because duh.
That's so weird.
And then Eric is like picking out key players. He's using his Oranos key to take out both Moira, Omega Sentinel, and Nimrod at once.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And because, I made and I gave Eric an extra 31 minutes because the fact that, he lasted so long.
All right.
Because I wanted to. I'm not done.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just had Maddie just walk up during the Storm space meeting with Orb Sinister Dude, Golden Orb.
Orbrius?
Man, I do not care.
How is it? Stellius?
I'm not gonna remember his
Stellaris.
name. I'm not gonna care.
Stellaris.
Orb Sinister. Orb Space Sinister guy. She rips him out of that orb, burns him alive in front of everyone, and just moves on with her day. And then she declares the new decree, no more Sinister. So now she's going after, the only ones left is Stasis and the other one, Mother Righteous. Yeah, that is how angry Hellfire Gala made me. I'm plotting things.
So I agree. Super traumatic, intense. But I enjoyed how it shifted the entire line's direction and added a lot of new pressure and stakes to the mutants to really deal with a threat that had been quiet for entirely too long. Like, I feel like the Hellfire Gala was Jerry putting a big exclamation point at the end of his work of building up the rogues gallery, building up the villain side of things, because they did, that was his whole thing with the beginning of the X-Men run, was that we need to reinvest in our villains. We've taken a lot of them off the board and we've made them allies. So let's get Fei Long, let's get
MODOK, Stasis.
Yeah, MODOK, like all these people kind of gathering in the background, plotting, and then they pulled off this like insane invasion and media campaign to pin it all onto. I just thought that it was really well orchestrated with all the elements coming in and then all the fallout afterwards, to then do that time jump to X months, X weeks later and see how things have changed so drastically. And I feel like it really sets up the mutants to do something.
I don't think it was well orchestrated too, whereas they didn't really put that much thought into it because it was so easy to do for them.
What do you mean?
The X-Men and Krakoa were being messy.
They hacked the gates. They came in unannounced from the sky. They plotted to kill Jean Grey. They took out the heavy hitters. They
okay, yeah, but Jean got that's not really that hard.
Layers of planning.
Yeah, but
I think the thing is that, like, it was very clear to me from the events of the gala that like as readers we've been questioning like where is Orcus for so long, and it's like they were building, they were plotting, they were doing stuff in the background to get themselves to this point. We just didn't see the effects of those things until the gala, and that issue was so like riveting to read. I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like sitting upright and just very like tense the whole time, and like I could feel the emotion like bubbling in me. Like I was just like, what's happening next? And like had moments where I was turning a page and saying like yelling things out loud. And though like obviously things happened that I wish didn't happen, right? But like that page of like we're the new X-Men team followed by Nimrod just destroys them, like that is like such a terribly terrifyingly beautiful page. Like I hear you in saying that like a lot of bad stuff happened and it's super traumatizing, but it also was like in terms of a story that kept me on my toes while I was reading it. I was super entertained reading it and like felt so many things. And I think that's something that's really important to me as a reader is like, even if I'm going to get angry, I want to feel something when I'm reading a story and I want to feel like really invested in it. And then I think as far as like Charles goes specifically, like the gala was such an important part of the transition of his character. And,
Yeah.
you know, this thing that's been seeded for a while, even like Magneto said, like, you know, Charles is going to destroy us all, essentially, you know, like this idea that's been seeded of, is the weight of Krakoa too much for him? And is he not actually doing what he needs to do to spread the leadership out? And by holding it all on himself, like, how is that going to affect the mutants overall? And then the choice that he makes and the way that you have this like resistance to that from the other mutants. So not only are we like fighting Orcus, but we're fighting within ourselves, and then it leaves everyone scattered at the end. And you know, giant cliffhangers are like, are they all dead? Where did they go? Like it definitely was devastating, but I think that sometimes we need to be devastated as readers so that we can be reinvigorated, because that happened and then X-Men 25 happened, and we were all just talking about how that moment with Kate, like that transformation of Orcus, like I want to take them down, like we wouldn't have felt so strongly about that moment if we didn't want vengeance just as bad as she did. And so like the gala gave us the opportunity to get mad and get ready for the fall of X and be invested in that story in a way that makes us want to take Orcus down just as much as the mutants do.
Oh man, thank you very very. That's Orcus. All right, can't just say Orcus. The way they came at you. They came at you from all sides. You like before you knew what was happening, something else happened. They took out Iceman. You're not supposed to take out Iceman. Iceman is virtually unkillable at this point. But they destroyed him like the first 5 minutes of Days of Future Past. Just kicked him around. It was nuts.
What made it even more jarring was when you're reading the gala and then the months leading up to the gala, there really wasn't any villains. You had the X-Force trying to find out, what the hell's going on. We know it's his Colossus's brother. We know it's Mikhail. We know it's his forces. They don't fucking know. And they're just running around doing things of no honest like consequences, right? So you're just kind of like, okay, that's interesting. You're more reading it because you're waiting for the setup to hit to its point. And they're chasing after Beast and they're fighting Beast. Same thing in Wolverine. They're chasing after Beast and they're fighting Beast. So they're fighting their own the whole time. New Mutants was literally doing nothing. It was just spinning its own tail. And you look across at the other books, if you're being honest, there was no threats, there was no villains. Like, okay, fine, you couldn't use the mutant villains, but most of the best X-Men stories have nothing to do with them fighting other mutants. It's typically them fighting against humans or what the humans are forcing them into fighting each other. But that when you get to the gala finally, yeah, that did feel like traumatic and just like holy shit, because no consequences, nothing of value was happening. It was basically, all those X-Men books until the fall of X and the gala was just empty calories. It's like, well, here you go. Here's a book with the title X on it. You'll buy it anyways. And then you're reading going, this fucking sucks. Like, I mean, think about it. The other one was Fenris, right? For the Bishop War College.
Yeah.
The Fenris twins were the other bad guy. Well, you're fighting basically family. You're fighting one of your own. They happen to be the fucking horrible side of the family of the Nazis. So, you're looking across and you're going, okay, there's really, there no substance, no style. It was just those books were existing. And that's it's great that the gala brought this life, but that also goes on editorial for not having like solid villains and stakes for the other books. Just because you're going to have this happen at the gala doesn't mean you can have stories with villains leading up to the damn fucking thing. So I think that's why the gala was just very besides the deaths and everything else, because that was like, oh my God, what just happened? But finally seeing something happen going, oh no, they were not prepared.
I would probably say, and it's gonna be weird, Scott and Jean arguing over the Brood. I thought it was hilarious. It's the fact that Jean couldn't understand why Cyclops would feel that way was like, you're a telepath. You should, like, that's your whole thing. It and it kind of reminded me of Morrison when Cyclops said, like, I'm still in my head. I've never been possessed before. And she was like, oh, you'll get over it. It's like, it's not that big. It's not that big of a deal. I was possessed by the Phoenix. You were possessed by Apocalypse. Whatever. No, but
what I don't get about the Brood thing and like the argument between fans and Jean and Scott is never once in any Marvel comic book ever say anything different besides if you see the Brood, you kill the Brood. Right. There's kill crews. The whole purpose of the Starjammers, Lockheed's fucking race, all Carol Danvers for half of her fucking career before she became Captain Marvel was killing the goddamn Brood, and all of a sudden everyone online's losing their mind, going, "No, they're sentient creatures. They need to exist." It's like they've been around for 40 years, and no one has ever argued on their behalf. Just because Brew is a good character, those other ones are nasty alien space bugs that aren't even supposed to be in this dimension to begin with. I just felt that was so contrived.
Not even the Brood like Brew.
Right.
No,
yeah,
they kicked him out of the hive.
Also, let's remember though. Let's remember they're not really an actual race. They were a weapon designed by the Kree to attack rival space civilizations.
Well, so, actually, from Al Ewing and the Defenders, they're actually remnants from the Seventh Cosmos.
Oh,
they're from the universe before the universe restarted, because they came when Galactus came over. They came like Galactus did. They were some sort of like scientific experiments that escaped into the new universe that was birthed. They're literally, it's like, from Clerks. I'm not supposed to be here. Well, that's the whole Brood race. I'm not supposed to be here. Where am I?
Yeah. They were then taking control of
if the Brood are from the old universe, does that make the Dire-Ravs our new Brood, our Brood?
I don't know, because the Dire-Rats are like tied up with Rom, and that's tied up with the toy rights. And so I don't know how they would change all that stuff.
Well, then I guess the first few issues of Cable are not canon.
Wait.
Well, no, the Dire-Rats are technically a Marvel character. Even though they were for the cartoon and everything else, they were created by Marvel comic books.
No, because Cable and Esme had to deal with Space Knight people.
Right. Okay.
This just says Galactus isn't really sanitary. He didn't check himself before he crossed over dimensions.
Basically, he was like a giant chicken in an egg, and then he was birthed when he came into this universe.
Okay. Next. Like
a Poltra? He's like the Poltra. It's like Poltra.
I don't know. He's like I just think of him like
from Jimmy Neutron.
Baby Raptors popping out.
Does no one get that reference?
No.
Poltra, Jimmy
never watched Jimmy
No?
Neutron. You're the young one.
Oh, this disappoints me.
Okay. Actually, I think you kind of said this. Who was your favorite X-Men villain this year?
Nimrod.
Oh no, I'm a little bit Stasis, just because I like his ridiculous personality, and yeah, I want to say Maddie, but Maddie wasn't a villain in this year. but like she's generally contextualized as a villain. So seeing her in the arc that she had over this year's stories, for me, it was like redemption in a way that I never knew I needed. And she is like rising to the top of my character list, but she's not a villain in this year's comics.
Honestly, I'm liking Mother Superior here. For 2 reasons only. Stasis and Orb Guy are terrible.
That's terrible. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I have to go with Firestar is a really great villain just because of her art.
She doesn't count. She does.
She totally counts. Everybody thinks she's a villain. Everybody thinks she's a villain.
Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed right now. Okay, she's barely keeping it together.
Exactly, and that is.
I gotta be honest. At this point, I'm not entirely sure Angelica counts for the dental plan of Orcus.
I don't know. She just replaced Judas's benefits, and now she's like, "Hey, I'm in charge."
Oh, okay, no, okay, all right. I still think Mystique is pretty. Like, she's the all-time goat of being a traitor. Like, just betraying everybody. So, like,
in order to be a traitor, that would have to have meant you were on their side at some point.
Yeah, and
Mystique is not like that.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's just her and Mystique. It's her and Destiny. That's it. That's the side she's on.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes Rogue on weekends.
And she has
sometimes
Rogue on multiple occasions too, though.
Sometimes Rogue on weekends.
I would say my favorite villain this year probably Destiny. She's just come on.
Well, yeah.
No, actually, no. I take it back. Cy Spurrier for what he did to Charles.
No, I love
it. He doesn't.
He did a Charles neutered fucking Legion, man.
Oh no! Okay. When did this
Legion
happen?
In the astral plane, which then led to fucking Nimrod and the taking over.
Oh, the writer for
Cy Spurrier.
Oh.
I feel a certain way about it. Okay, I feel I'm still dealing with it. I'm just.
You're allowed your feelings. It's totally fine. But
I like it.
Are you shocked that Charles did that to David? Really?
No.
I'm not shocked, but it's Charles is such a
the worst
bitch. He really is. You know, like
this is the same person who made Xavier protocols for all the important members of the X-Men.
Okay. All
and that was when I was in I think it was an 8th grade or freshman year of high school, the Xavier protocols. I remember buying that stuff going, he's a son of a bitch. And then Onslaught, he wanted to sleep with Jean when she was 14 years old. Son of a bitch. You keep finding out more and more and more every fucking few years. You're going, Charles, stop being creepy.
The Genesis.
Okay.
God, I was so mad for Banshee alone, let alone everything else that happened.
Okay, 3 things. 1, Jean was 16. 2, that was just a thought. You guys not gonna get mad over somebody over having a thought.
Is Xavier's mansion over in Oklahoma or is it New York? Because I'm pretty sure that's still illegal.
Yeah.
All right.
Even if it is in 1962.
And the Xavier protocols thing, that was you know what? I don't really trust Moira on that one too, because she be lying. We all know she be lying. She loves to throw Charles under the bus. So, and plus,
it's not like it's hard.
No, it's not.
No, but like, I'm pretty sure she's been wanting to do all that since the jump. So it's really, and people like, hey, Charles did. Yeah, he probably did.
Honestly, it would have been interesting to see if Hickman hadn't left. And if he was actually able to tell the story that he was going to tell, and Moira didn't become the villain, how things would have changed. Because when you read the older stuff, he's such a good writer where like the change of the retcon still works when you read older stuff. It actually makes more context to the older stuff, where it makes their conversations seem creepier.
Yeah.
Because when I read Excalibur or old, like 1980s fucking Uncanny X-Men, and when they talk, it has like more of a sinister tone than when I had read it just like 10 years ago. And I'm going, oh, these two are creeping me out, man.
They're up to something.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I think if you really want to have a conversation about the good in Xavier, I think you may have gathered the wrong group of people for that.
Yeah.
I'm wearing.
I knew he was a jerk when I was like 10 years old.
I'm literally wearing a Magneto t-shirt.
Hey, the X-Men don't work without him. He started this. He
Just because he
The
started
X-
it doesn't mean they don't work without him. That is
Yeah.
a whole
The
nother
X-Men
conversation.
have
That is.
literally thrived without him.
They've done better actually without him. Outback
Yeah.
X-Men. A lot of other different eras. Their strongest stories happened when Charles was on hiatus somewhere else. When he was out in space having sex with Birdwoman. You know, hey, the team
Bro, he
thrived
had
and functioned a
bird
lot better.
cancer. He had bird. He was in rehab, man. He was in rehab.
I'm honestly really excited about. I know like a lot of people are over Sinister for this year, like they've had enough Sinister, but I'm really excited about like Charles and Sinister walking off into the sunset and like what will become of the Sinister inside Charles. Like that's the Charles Xavier story that I want. I think
Embrace
that's
it.
one of the things from this year that I've really liked is like seeing him turn into this like uncontrollable villainous version of himself and like losing himself, because I think he's a character that I don't know very well from like past comics, but I feel like as a staple has had a very specific role in relation to the X-Men throughout. So like giving him this different side, I want him to become the nastiest villain there is, and then maybe I'll start loving him.
Yeah, that comment from Doom too in that last X-Men issue is like, he'll either he must become something a little bit more interesting, and I'm ready for that, Charles.
I
I'm ready
love
for
how Doom just immediately knew that Eric was like right next to him.
Oh, it's so funny.
he knew everything.
He's like, "Oh, you're not confident enough to do this by yourself, so you probably got Eric right there with you." What?
Boyfriend's in the house.
He's like, "What?" It's like, you know what? We don't even need to talk to him. Like, it's like I feel like
And
Doom
Eric
wanted to be
is like,
invited.
can we please hang up and do something else, anything else?
Okay, who was your
Even
favorite?
Eric got tired of his ex future son-in-law.
Oh God, Magneto's a jerk. Magneto, you want to talk about a jerk? Magneto's a jerk. I'm just saying. All right, who?
Hey, there's someone already did a Trial of Magneto podcast
Oh, that's true.
in October.
Oh, all right. So, who was your favorite character this year?
Favorite character.
That's a really difficult question because I
Sure.
have like 7 answers.
Yeah, there's no real right
Who
answer
do you?
to-
All right.
to this.
I'll rephrase it. What characters do you feel had like a highlight year? Like you were more interested that you were
I
more.
wouldn't
interested in
say a
them today
year,
than
more
you
like
were last year.
I mean, I've
More like-
always been interested in Storm, but she had a great year.
Yeah, Storm
Storm
for
had a
sure.
great year.
I didn't like Storm this year.
Why?
Wow. Yeah. Let's do that. I want to hear that.
I just it's like at the beginning of Red, she was like, awesome, cool, you go, girl. But then after Eric died, it was kind of hard for me to like her. And she was how do I put this? She started acting like a huge cunt.
I don't know. I
mean,
feel like
each their own.
especially after Eric died, she embraced the necessities that she needed to be able to lead the people forward, and she always had the back of the Iraqi people and their best interests at heart, which was at her
And
detriment.
I also
stepping
think
aside
that she has
from
a
the
real
Krakoan people.
problem of spreading herself too thin.
Yeah.
That, yes. But I think
Absolutely.
She's always
Hey,
had that
here-
problem, though.
Yeah.
This is how she was acting in the X-Men in the 80s between fucking from Mutant Morlocks or the Morlock or Mutant Massacre to Fall of the Mutants, because she was with nature, she was against killing, and she slowly started turning towards like Wolverine. Well, in this, instead of Wolverine, she's turning slowly more and more ideologically towards Magneto.
You know what's funny? In my fic, I kind of had Eric point out Storm had a problem, and so Storm stepped down. But like to watch Eric to make sure he doesn't do anything too crazy, she let Lorna be her replacement just to mess with him.
I've never seen Lorna and Storm have a conversation.
It's
Interesting.
fan fiction. Don't look too into this.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going off. I'm like that's
Just
something I
think about
always.
that myself.
Also, of course, they don't have an interaction. Well, Lorna doesn't.
Because Lorna was possessed by malice, and they had a lot of negative fighting interaction.
Yeah, that's why I winked.
Oh wow.
But like, if you think about it, like the Chuck Austin run, Storm wasn't with that group. She was with Chris with the Extreme X-Men.
Yeah.
Right.
Then each other time that's like Lorna was actually with the X-Men, like Lorna was a fucking she was a Horseman of Apocalypse, but Storm wasn't with the team that went after her to begin with. So all these various stories where like Lorna, either when she's herself or kind of herself, but a little bit crazy, the two of them are like nowhere around.
No.
It's like you know each other, friends of friends.
But honestly,
Work
the only reason why Storm went to Lorna as well, Eric would be very much affected if Lorna was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the point.
Okay, so favorite characters. We got
Storm.
yeah, Storm.
I'm still standing by Maddie.
Maddie had a great year.
Yeah. Maddie.
I liked Nightcrawler a lot from what was it, like Way of X or Life of X or whatever the fuck of X it was with Cy Spurrier, because they kept changing the name. All I know is it always ends in of X. But I did like those books. I never thought I was gonna like Uncanny Spider-Man. But
I thought it was funny when Stacy X punched Nightcrawler. That was funny.
Yeah. Actually, that's the one thing is like you don't like Spurrier, but he has such an eclectic taste in characters. Like, I mean, I know he created Forget-Me-Not, but at least he still keeps fucking using him. He doesn't forget the character that he created. But he also brought in Husk. He brought in Chamber. He brought in Stacy X. All these characters that are on the fringes that like they exist, but no one really touches. He made them at the very least team. Like, think about it. Pixie was in the goddamn book.
Yeah.
She was like the next big thing for like a while, and then they just made a new younger X girl, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna go away like we did with Kitty, and like we did with Armor, and like we did with Rogue, and like we did, Rogue became her own real big thing.
Rogue's a diva.
But I mean, it's like they kind of pushed them to the side. But I think another character though would, I said earlier, Sunspot.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved all of his just chess playing with everyone.
Yeah, I used to hate him, and then this year in X-Men Red, he really he turned me. I was like, ooh, do I like
Hickman really
Roberto?
gave Roberto some real Magneto moments.
Yeah. And that had been done since the 80s in New Mutants, where he was going to be like a future despot. And so for like 10 years, he was trying to be like a party guy instead of being the serious guy, even though he went to work for Gideon to try to prevent that, which I don't understand how that's supposed to fucking work. But regardless, at one point he was being directed towards like being a possible mastermind. And then they just kind of dumped all that. And Hickman, like you said, he actually went back to going, no, this guy's smart. He's, I mean, think about it. He's a billionaire. That means he went to the best schools. He went to Xavier. You learn from like the Shi'ar. You're learning, alien technology. You're learning stuff that like normal school kids would never fucking learn. And he already had a good education before going over there. People forget that he's a legit yeah, his powers are really cool. I like his visual effects, but it's his brain to me that becomes the interesting part about him, rather than just kind of his generic fire looking power. Even though it's not he's not Human Torch or anyone else like that, but I mean, still, he's got the appearance of looking.
Yeah.
Sunfire for me. I really liked that. Like, I know it's kind of late, but it's not really. Like that whole thing when he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go find Red Root, and he just went to the to Otherworld off of nothing. He didn't know any. And like just the way X-Men Infinity did it. I love their like the way they do the panels and stuff. That's really like.
I'm still getting adjusted to that.
Yeah, I like it. I was kept on wondering like why aren't these physical? I would love to get like a trade paperback of this, because
they did make single issues of it at one point, and then they just completely stopped doing it. Because I do have X-Men Green #1. I've got some other thing like they've made they've made like at least I want to say 2 or 3 like 64 page like collected things of like the beginning like first few arcs of that series.
It must not have been selling, because I agree that especially these arcs that are very much so tied into the part of like a part of the Fall of X or the Krakoan line, I feel like should have a printed copy. I would
Yeah.
love to have a printed copy, especially now that they're very much so in lockstep with the narrative telling Firestar's story. Even when they do print in the trades the Hellfire kind of runner-up stories that they've been doing the last couple of years.
That was
what
fun.
used to be Secret X-Men the first year.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They should, because I ended up getting Marvel Unlimited and started reading. Like that was like literally the first thing I went to when I got Marvel Unlimited was to go and look at the X-Men Unlimited series, and just read all of that from like scratch over. Like I thought like the surprising was from Steve Orlando, but when he had the those rescue units with Birdie, Nature, was it Brother Nature, all those various characters. One, they had cool looking costumes, but they actually had a defined mission state. Like that was one thing that a lot of the books were missing. Had a defined mission statements, and they were actually doing it.
That was the Marauders we needed. That was volume 2.
That was
Marauders. That was the concept.
I can't.
And it was coming out at the same time, which was even worse. Where you're going,
ridiculous.
This is the better Marauders.
This is the book.
Yeah.
Oh,
better cast of characters. Everything about it was fucking better. It was like, oh, why aren't we getting this?
If you guys like this, wait till you get to next year. I got a chance to interview Orlando. He said like he has some big stories for X-Men Infinity with Danny Moonstar, Sunspot, and Thunderbird. So
I've been reading that. Yeah.
Hey, I love me some Danny Moonstar. First crush. Sunspot, that's my man. Thunderbird, he's cool. I like Warpath better, but whatever. Like
I kind of like that they brought him in, because Warpath, his arc of being this angry, big musclehead, meathead guy, he's grown past that, and to have him revert back to that type of character would do a disservice to all the stories they've had throughout the years. Now, meanwhile, Thunderbird was this jerk who died very early on. So it's literally like, what do you know about Thunderbird? Well, he was in 3 issues.
Right.
Okay. It's there's a lot you can make around with stories about that. Absolutely. And he's still angry, that's why I like having him in the stories again, because you don't have to have Warpath going back to being the angry guy. That's Thunderbird. I like him as the gym teacher. I like him as this like cool, calm, and collected guy that like if you really need him, he'll fight, but he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's cool to see them get together and their relationship, and like how they sort of work out the time that has been lost between them.
Yeah, because now Warpath, even though he's the younger brother, emotionally mature, his maturity level, everything, it's Jimmy's now the older brother, and John is the younger hothead. And can you imagine that would be such a mindfuck if you came back to the past, like you were dead and you were brought back. Your brother's older than you, and you're the jag off, and he's the smart, calm, collected guy that people look up to. And and the funny thing is too, he's still angry at Emma. He's angry at Chuck. He's angry at Cable for bringing him into all these things. But him doing all those things with them made him a better, well-rounded person. And he's angry that he joined those wars, but those wars made him an actual like real, like some characters are just caricatures of like real things. You look at some people going, okay, yeah, that's just that's a hothead guy. This is a blah blah blah. Jimmy had the full arc. Every way around, like everything you throw at that guy happened to him.
And he's so like Jimmy's just great. And like, what you just said, they talk about in after this what was it the last Spider-Man No Way Home, like when they talk about like, oh, the snap, like my little brother's older than me. Yeah, that's math.
Yeah. Yeah, that is such a mind fuck, because it's just like you're going
really cool to explore. I would love to explore.
Yeah, because think about it. He in his head he thinks he's right. He thinks he knows more, and Jimmy's like, dude, you were dead for like 15. Like I'm always trying to do the math of like when he died in there. It's like
what is
we're at now? Like how many years was that supposed to really be in like Marvel time? I'm just go with like let's say 10 to 15 years. That's a long time to be like, I know what's best for you. Motherfucker, you wouldn't get off the plane. No, you don't know what's best for me. But that had to be one of the dumbest deaths.
Warpath's like, bro, you don't even know how to fly. Like, I know how to fly. We have the same powers. I know how to fly. Do you? No.
I still don't like Warren Ellis adding that to Warpath's powers though, because that just became like a little bit like, okay, like he should have done it. It should have been like how the Hulk does stuff, where the Hulk is just so strong, like it looks like he's flying, but it's just a controlled jump. That I've been more okay with than Jimmy actually being that just still doesn't sit right. I mean, I know it's part of his arsenal now, and it's been 23 years. I still don't like that.
or he could say, "Hey, do you have vibranium knives given to you by Storm? I got vibranium knives given to me by Storm. Oh, these are amazing." All right, I just want to see Warpath show that like I have more experience than you. Sit down, little brother. Okay. Three more. All right. What was your favorite X-Men title this year?
Magneto.
Man, you had. Oh yeah, he did have a book this year. Yeah.
Oh,
Chris Claremont always wants to put more things into his stuff.
that was JM.
Oh, James, yeah, I was about to say that wasn't Claremont.
No.
Oh, never mind. I would draw my statement.
That was Todd?
Todd Knock, J.M. DeMatteis. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
X-Men Red for me. That's just it's the the minis I did like, but I was looking, I'm like, oh, Sabretooth and the Exiles basically was done when the year started. And I start going through the rest, I'm going, it's X-Men Red. X-Men Red to me it's the creme de la creme of the X books for me.
X-Men Red was my favorite last year, I think. I think Immortal X-Men took the top spot this year just because I felt like it was more connected to the narrative of Krakoa for me. I loved how X-Men Red started, and I loved how Storm and the Brotherhood took things in the Sins of Sinister. But I just like the way that it handled the fallout of Sins of Sinister and actually making it mean something to the world and having that represent a change in the council's leadership, and then also how it's been able to use this time after the gala to tell very different stories but still involving the council members. Well, that was really interesting. And then if I could take a second and say my favorite mini series, it would be Dark X-Men.
Steal my answers.
We talked about this yesterday. What are you talking about?
Dark
Your
X-Men.
favorite was Immortal X-Men.
No, Dark X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men Red was my favorite. Like larger title, but Dark X-Men, like that book stole my heart. I love it. I'm so sad that it will not continue.
Did you have a least favorite book this year?
Oh yeah, we're getting to that. We'll get to that. That's the next question.
All right.
Well, favorite book.
What was your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book.
Yeah. What was your
Immortal X-Men. I just love getting into the mindsets of these characters. I mean, just from the jump, I love Sebastian Shaw. He showed that I don't care. Like, no, I don't care. Oh, what about the baby? I don't care. What about the kids? I don't care. What about yours? I don't care. Fuck these kids. No, but just like I don't like Hope. It made me like Hope a little bit, but made me like, yeah, I didn't really think that Exodus did anything wrong by killing her. Back in Sins of Sinister, I was like, he did me a solid. No, but Immortal X-Men was great. I just and plus, like what you said, Alicia, with Xavier, I love what they are doing with him. Like, like he is so in a dark place, and I don't know why. When the character is in a dark place, that's when they're most fun. Like you don't know where they're gonna go, and I really like how that message that Sinister left for Xavier. Please don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's just it was so cinematic to me. Like I kind of saw every issue as kind of like a different genre of movies. Like a lot of psychological thrillers, but like some action, but like some really great stuff. So Immortal X-Men. Least favorite book this year.
Oh, that's easy. I have 2 least favorite books.
Okay.
Rogue and Gambit 2023.
Oh, that's a deep cut. Oh, Oh, that was rough.
The other one, Days of Futures Past Doomsday.
Really?
I like that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I really
the new one, the new one where they explain how he got there.
Yeah.
The Guggenheim one, yeah, where it's got at the end, it's got Magneto,
That wasn't that bad.
Rachel,
in the
and Gideon,
I
then
didn't
with the new
hate that
X-Men
one.
team, Bishop showing up, and everything else at the very end.
Yeah.
I
didn't-
was not I told myself that I wasn't going to feel anything when they all died. I was expecting death and somehow also disappointed at the same time.
Okay.
Spider-Man one was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's an X-Men book. Spider-Man always gets to run into the deal.
Colossus marrying a minor.
He used to run
was
to do his
weird.
own book.
Hey, Colossus married a minor. Nobody talked about it. Like, it's like, wait, he that's a
They were
14-year-old
in the
girl. Nobody's
it's
talking.
Days of Futures
Not a minor
Past
at that point.
and Magic just kind of died, so that's
Kitty had nobody left. Yeah.
yeah.
It's to settle for the lesser Rasputin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have waited a few years for Domino.
I got two.
Okay.
It's probably Astonishing Iceman has been a massive disappointment
Yeah.
for me personally. I just feel like it's kind of on repeat in this, and it's not doing anything for the character. It's
No.
not doing anything for understanding why he died or what we're doing with that. It just feels like it's repetitive. And then honestly, I was really disappointed with Bishop War College. I was
Hated that.
excited about what that could have done, but I just didn't know what it was doing. It was telling like two entirely different stories that in the end didn't mean much of anything for anybody, except the bad guys learned a little bit about Krakoa.
Yeah. No, I
War
hated
College was
War College, one
weird.
of my most hated.
War College was weird. Even by X-Men standards.
It was
'Cause think
still-
about-
it was
think about-
an alternate universe
Think
fucking
about
story.
let's think about the plot. You're Bishop, one of the few black X-Men of the team. You're leading a bunch of kids. You're trying to fight a bunch of white supremacists. And then somehow those white supremacists accidentally teleport you to an all black X-Men universe.
With the other black character too, Tempo. They took the two black characters from Bishop's team, him and Tempo, and sent them away.
They made Tempo was weirdly the Moira X of that universe for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then it got weird.
Yeah.
But the one thing in that series that did make me chuckle was when Black Shaw told Black Emma,
Girl,
"Girl, you were white."
that was hilarious.
That was funny.
It was.
I hated the War College one, and the other one I really hated was the end of New Mutants. I'm going to count it as one, but the end of New Mutants into Lethal Legion.
Okay.
Like, I don't care about Escapade. I fucking hate Morgan. Morgan is the most annoying fucking character ever. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. There's resurrection. I'm gonna die. Shut the fuck up. He's crying about gonna die every fucking scene. Every scene Morgan shows up in. I'm gonna die. Just
I mean, Doug was kind of like that too.
who?
Doug,
And
Cypher.
Yeah, but at the very least, she can make ice cream. Doug can't do anything besides speak another language at them. Parlez-vous?
I would
Throw
say
some ice cream at them and run.
Oh God, that's. Oh God, sorbet. No, I would say the book
Okay,
I
two things. One, ice cream is probably her dad, and two, blah. I hope she never has to fight the Blob
Oh, that's rough. That's a.
because he'll probably eat her.
Oh, that's. Oh, that's rough. My books.
We're talking about soft serve, or are we talking about?
Yeah,
Escapade?
that's one.
Morgan.
Morgan,
I
makes
thought
the
we
ice
were talking about soft serve.
Morgan makes
No,
things
Morgan.
into
Morgan's
chocolate.
the.
I
Turns
heard
things
ice
into
cream.
chocolate.
I heard ice cream at
There's
people.
ice cream. There's soft serve, and there's Morgan.
When you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
ice cream, I thought you were talking about soft serve, who I love.
Escapade's best friend is Morgan, the guy with the turtle
Flying
that
turtles.
Yeah, he thinks
Fudge
always running
Krakoa
around
is
in a bow
powers.
tie.
right?
Fudge
He thinks
powers.
Krakoa is
Fudge powers
racist,
guy.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I read a
Yeah, I
couple.
did not like the end of New Mutants, and I didn't like the New Mutants Lethal Legion. It was Lethal Legion. I didn't care. Like, they tried at least making new young characters. I didn't like any of them. I thought all of them were genuinely just boring, and I didn't understand their power. Like, I really don't understand Escapade's power switching places with someone. It doesn't do anything for me. And then the kid with the Cosmer or Cosmere or whatever, the one that has like the really messed up face with the nightmare powers.
Yeah.
I just the like after even at the end of Vita Ayla's run, I didn't really care for it too much towards the end. But then when I don't remember the writer who took over afterwards, but he wrote both
Charlie
the
Adams.
other parts.
Charlie
Thank
Adams?
you. It bored the living hell out of me. I dropped that book. I was just I couldn't take it. Like I genuinely thought it was so boring, and that was like a comic book that I was buying that I was like, oh god, I forgot I bought this, and it would take me like twice as long to read just because I fucking hated it so much. I hated all the characters, and I hated like the teachers that were in there. I liked them, but the way that they were being used, I wanted to wring all their necks. I thought they were all just very irritating, the students and the teachers. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
Okay. No,
One thing I did really enjoy about Lethal Legion was Cerebella and the narrative that she had. And I think it was really, really at the end of New Mutants with the John Sublime trauma, bringing that up, and then kind of her arc going into it. But yeah.
That was the only part I did like.
Oh man. Wow. Least favorite book. I'm probably gonna go. Everybody knows where I'm gonna go. X-Men Blue, but alternatively, I'm gonna go with
I'm in shock.
Huh? Yes.
I'm in shock that you said X-Men Blue.
I thought it was okay. My thing about it was,
I think he should take this opinion with a grain of salt because he also thinks Hank is cool and likes Forge.
I think Forge is interesting. Forge. He's so
okay. Tell me why. Okay. Tell me why you didn't like X-Men Blue.
It kind of just shows that his life, that Nightcrawler's life is worse. It's like his mother is like his mother's didn't really want. No, his mom didn't want him.
It'd be worse than his dad was a devil.
Yeah, sorry, but like he thought. All right. My thing is, what was so wrong with the Draco? If he wanted to,
what was good about the Draco? Hold on,
I love
that.
I can answer that. The Draco finally gave Kurt a parent who wanted him.
Yeah.
Ooh,
he had to sacrifice to open up a portal. He didn't want him. He was just a convenient thing.
I said wanted. I didn't say it was good.
It wasn't love. It was just need for a tool.
Right.
You know?
He said.
Yeah. It was like, I really want this power tool, but if I get the screwdriver, I think I could still.
Yeah, but like compared to everyone else, Raven, Irene, Magic Lady, what's her face?
Oh, Margarly.
Oh, Mother Raven.
You mean the mother who actually raised him? The actual one who actually gave him love and like accepted him for who he was, and then Cy Spurrier comes around and just says, "Oh, I don't love you anymore." Stab. No, but I guess my thing with X-Men Blue was, like, it's trying to make Mystique redeemable. It's like Mystique's crazy. She's supposed to be like nuts. Like she doesn't care about nobody but Destiny. But then you find out that I actually really did love Kurt. I'm like, no, you didn't.
But how does it make her redeemable though? Because she still did all of the
they're trying to make her redeemable by making Destiny look worse. Because remember at the end of the book, Destiny hid for 5 years, and then when Mystique found her, she had Rogue, and she used her as like she manipulated her. She's like, "Hey, I know you're mad, but hey, I got that daughter you always wanted," and like she's
but both of them are manipulators though. That's their thing.
That's how they work together.
That's their love language, manipulation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
manipulation.
Well, more Destiny.
I'll manipulate you. You can manipulate me.
And every once in a while, we'll pull out the
manipulate together a whole damn family.
Yes, see?
We'll start a brotherhood team and then form Freedom Force.
But
then I'll go off and die some more.
But I don't. It's just the whole thing about it. It just rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, wow, you're just wow, you just really want Claremont's idea, huh? Like Mystique can have a baby, can do that now. She couldn't do it back then, which is okay. But she's had so many power upgrades through the years. We've all seen her have power upgrades where she has more control over her powers. If she was able to do this now, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Like that's cool. But like, nah.
I think there's something really
maybe
beautiful.
the powers was only there because of her mental handicap of being fucking crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I was just saying, I just think there's something really beautiful about the idea that the original intent was for Destiny and Mystique to be Nightcrawler's parents, and that, like, you know, the worlds in which how the world existed back then, like that wasn't able to be told. And so there was some other way that we made sense of it, and to give them that like authority that they don't need this outside thing. And it does I hear what you're saying, like about Nightcrawler, and it makes his story more sad, right? But at the same time, I think that story wasn't just about him, it was about both of them. And for her to have like that agency, and then to know that like Azazel still was involved, like he's still part of Nightcrawler because Mystique pulled bits and pieces from all these other people. I know that's interesting. But then you were gonna say there was X-Men Blue and something else that you didn't like. What was the other one?
Marauders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me it was definitely Iceman, and then as like the more like non-Krakoan books that came out, like I could give two shits about Wolverine versus Predator. Like I don't care.
Thank God. Thank God.
But like it's doing, people love it, but like I don't.
Look, I buy everything with
maybe we would have
Logan's on the
cared
book,
if
I'm
this
fine.
like happened in like the 90s or whatever, but no. It's 2023.
I found myself, you know, I used to say like, oh, like who cares, whatever, like Logan, blah, blah, blah. But this year I really found myself being like, why do we need to put Logan in everything all the time? I know people love him. I know he's money. I hate that answer. I know it's a valid answer.
But honestly, look at how few books are sold every single month. Like what is considered a good book now is like 50,000 books. And like just 10 years ago, 50,000 got you canceled. Now that's considered a good book. And Logan, you know, the Alien vs. Predator one, it's a miniseries. So people are a little bit more inclined. You get the people that just know Predator and they just know Logan from movies, and they're going to go, oh shit, the guy with the Hugh whatever his name is, Hugh Jackman versus the Predator.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy that.
What do you think
Like,
is more?
I was a kid, I used to buy stuff like that.
Which idea is more ridiculous? Wolverine and versus Predator, or that weird crossover Marvel did with Fortnite in that miniseries?
That actually I thought was stupid.
I ignored that I wiped that from my memory.
Yeah.
Unanimous.
They literally turned that Fortnite crossover into some sort of profitable Secret Wars, and I did not care for that.
You know what I'd actually like to see? It's going to sound weird. Alien versus the Brood. They're both owned by Marvel or Disney now.
Sure.
It's not like they can't do it because they're a Fox property. Well, they bought Fox so they could do the X-Men movies again. You're already doing it.
One day we will get an updated crossover with the Muppets and Star Wars, since they're now also owned by Disney.
Yes,
I would buy that.
I would
with
love
that.
the hell out.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? It's kind of fun though, because DC does those Hanna-Barbera like crossovers with their characters every so often.
Yeah.
And those things
are
are
great.
actually, they're actually pretty fucking good. Like you'd think they'd be the dumbest thing ever, but you're reading a Snagglepuss cartoon, or you're reading a fucking Elmer Fudd, and what was it, Batman, or whoever was with Elmer Fudd. I mean, some of these things are like, it shouldn't work. It sounds stupid, kind of is stupid, but it's just, you know, it's a good old fashioned. You put your brain off and go, I had fun, because not everything has to be so serious, not everything has to be world ending. Sometimes it's nice to have a stupid book. Like, I missed was like, what, 10 years ago, I want to say, was when like Miss Marvel was written by G. Willow Wilson. You had Squirrel Girl out. You had Hellcat out. Those were 3 bonkers, weird books that I was buying. Everything else was dark and depressing and crazy. And then you had those 3 titles. I mean, Jubilee was still a vampire, so I was a little bit upset. But Hellcat had Jubilee, Hellcat, and She-Hulk in the damn thing. it was one of the funniest books you could read. Squirrel Girl, I have that whole damn run. Same thing with Miss Marvel's first run. Those were like genuinely funny. I like having those like just I don't know. I kind of like having those cutesy fun stories every so often because you don't need to have. It's like you watch superhero movies sometimes.
Yeah.
World's ending, everything's blowing up.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Okay,
That's why I loved Exterminators so much because
yeah, that was
own
weird.
Thing. And it was just like amazing, and I loved it. And it was like, let's make these like girls be raunchy, and I'm here for it. And like, yeah, give me more Exterminators. I'll take that as like my little taste of something that's not world ending, but I enjoy reading.
That,
you know, the funny thing is too, X-23 or Laura, her being with the rest of those three was kind of like the odd couple where she's just like this very serious person. And Dazzler, you know, she has her serious moments, but she was a rock star or a pop star. She's used to the weird stuff.
Right.
Boom Boom's always been fucking weird. And Jubilee's always been fucking
True.
So when you put like the three of them together, the Light Brigade, and then Laura, you're going, oh, this, and it's a grindhouse, like horror type of thing. You're going, yeah, that's a good like I agree. It's a good like, it's entertaining, it's fun, it's not intellectually groundbreaking, it's not like, oh, you have to read this. This is like, no, it's like, this is a fun fucking book. Do you want to read a fun book? This is a fun book. Here you go. Because I actually do that with people going, what do you like to read? Because I've got some weird ideas for you.
Yeah.
I kept on thinking first of all, Exterminators was great. You're right. It is you can just turn your brain off. But every time I read, I kept on getting like a Tarantino vibe. I'm like, I can totally see Tarantino doing this. He would have so much fun with this.
Hey, now we can't give Tarantino all the credit because there weren't any foot scenes.
Yes, that's what I just said a moment ago.
I mean,
there weren't any foot scenes.
Foot scenes there. But it's more like
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, part of the Grindhouse movie.
Speaking of Tarantino, I was watching this video, Korean Beef 27, right? And he said as a joke, if Tarantino went to hell, right, his punishment would be him watching foot scenes, but by Rob Liefeld.
Okay.
Actually, that could have been one of the worst fucking books of the year. I could have had the Deadpool one that he just made Batter Blood. Is it Bad Blood, Baddest Blood, Batter Blood? One of the villains is fucking Thumper.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Rob Liefeld's art looks the same, so you can't really tell what year this takes place.
No, it's gotten worse. No, his art's gotten actually fucking worse.
Because
I've been doing weird rereads of like the New Mutants and early X-Force and other things he started off with. His at least when he first started, it was energetic. Anatomy's wrong. Everything's not how. I mean, the gun. He's holding the hand one way. The gun's going over this way. Like I don't know how you're pointing like this, but your gun's going there. And you look at all that stuff, but at least back then it had an energy. Now it's with less of the line. Because he used to do like a lot of like the line work, like to make it look like there's light and all the other things. Now it's just like it looks like he's doing sketches and going, yeah, this is my final product. Here you go.
Okay.
He's going the Greg Land route.
Ooh.
Yes, or even worse, John Cassidy. I don't know if you saw his one of his recent covers.
Beast.
It was for I think it was for X-Men or something because it showed Beasts or no Wolverine and Beast. It was for X-Force. It looked like a 13-year-old drew it. John Cassidy. Cassidy variant cover for X-Force.
Okay. All right. Last
John was the guy
question,
on
guys.
his X-Men, right? That was...
All right.
He was a great artist. The art that he put out was, what is this?
Oh.
You see what we're saying?
He's the one.
Yes. And Frank
He's
Miller's
the one that's responsible for the 48.
Yes, it's actually that I don't know. He must just sometimes I feel like some of these people, they do these like sketches now and they're just going
X-Force 48. It's been going around recently. The new X-Force variant cover. It's been going around.
Yeah, people are making fun of this like fucking crazy.
Jeez. Okay. All right. Last question. What is something you would like to see from X-Men next year?
Magneto slapping Charles.
Jesus.
Okay. I'd like to see Krakoa at least still exist. At least, what they should do is have Krakoa still exist, but have it sectioned off and actually hidden, because they're going to put him back in the school. The way they're doing it, they're going to put it back in the school. But they better continue with the Arakko, because the way that they left X-Men Red at the end, and plus my boy Nova got poisoned, but that's one of Al Ewing's favorite characters, so he's going to get better. But I want to see more continuing of because they brought in all those mercenaries from Guardians of the Galaxy when Ewing wrote it. They were on Arakko at the very end of that fucking series. There's way too many cliffhangers with that. So I want Arakko to survive, and I want at least some semblance of Krakoa to survive. Maybe it's not like it was before where everyone lives there, but you can't just completely abandon these ideas, because this actually made people excited. Because Lord knows I hadn't been excited for the X-Men since before Decimation.
Ooh.
Decimation, that was
when Scarlet Witch got rid of all the mutants back in 2005. I hadn't liked it since then. I was buying the book out of love for the characters and hoping things would get better. Peter David had a terrific X Factor run. That was wonderful. Rick Remender had
I didn't like House of M.
You didn't like which one?
House of M.
Fair. It was all right. It was nice seeing the X-Men actually included in a Marvel wide crossover.
I think mid 2000s was when it started going to hell.
Really? Messiah Complex?
So.
Yeah. You got
that was the bright spot in the darkness, though. Messiah Complex, that was great, but
that's not fair, because you'd have 3 or 4 books, but 3 or 4 characters were on every fucking roster out of those 3 or 4 books that was survived. Only X Factor and a few others had rosters.
I have a theory. There's a teleporter device built into their suits, like Deadpool used to have. That's the only explanation that I can think of.
Okay.
Because none of them can fly or run fast.
Yeah, because honestly, people make fun of the 90s, but the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, if there was a major storyline going on in a character that had a solo book, they would just write them out of the book. They would say that, think about it. I was I'm doing a reread of Kurt Busiek's Avengers. Thor was stuck with a mortal, a EMT driver. And so when he was stuck having to be his life, he said, I have to resign from active Avengers duty, because he never knows when the fuck that guy's going to take over the body. And so he'd leave, but he would come back for the major stories. They needed to have something like that, where it's crowd control and okay, what book is this person in? Okay, that he can only be in that team book. Because especially nowadays too, where you have think about it. You've got Laura, Daken, Gabby, Logan, Jimmy's somewhere in the wild as a fucking what do they call those Venomites? Poison. He's a poison.
And nobody cares about Rain.
No. There's 4 or 5 stories with her. That's it.
One story.
I thought there was more than that.
No, it was an arc.
Yeah,
it started with the grandma and then the mom. And who names your kid Queen of Nothing? That's what they named this kid in French.
Maybe she's really God.
This girl literally looks like the love child between Valkyrie and Magic.
Jeez.
Yeah. With glowing blue claws.
All right. It's good. All right. So, are you guys? What some things you want to see next year?
I want to see the comeback, but I don't want it to be easy. I want, as we get into the fall and the rise and all of that, I want it to still have. It should still be a battle that has stakes, I don't want to lose too many people, but I think that we could lose some people, because that would make the story have some reverberating effects. And then I want to see someone other than Charles in charge.
Ooh, speaking of losing people, you know what I would like? Rogan gave a divorce.
What? What?
Yes.
Yikes.
Do not. That'd be a messy divorce. And you do you want Destiny happy? Do you want Destiny and Mystique happy?
In this particular instant, yes.
Eric
the Red was right.
I want to see Charles flip his perspective on humanity. I really want him to become a villain. Like I want it in the depths of my soul. And I agree that I also agree with the Arako statement. Having losing that would kill me. They've worked so hard to like save themselves and sustain like and create this new version that it would really destroy me if that was just like bye. And agreed on leadership. I really want to see like what would happen if just like X women just took the lead across the board. What would happen?
Or at the very least, X women have ones that already haven't had their shot at having the fucking crown, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have Stormback, have her as like the consigliere. You know, she comes in there, she could take everyone out, but she's just gonna give you your, you know, advice and what she would do. But it's up to you to choose on how to enact with it. Because she did that with Wolverine throughout like the longest. She would ask him the hard questions, make her own decision, and then everyone would back it up.
Kind of like what she did in Marauders to Kate, even though it was minimal in her role there, but not. She was the power. She wasn't the leader. Like I would love to see her be the side to, like Danny.
Yes.
Or
give me Danny.
Yes,
someone has not been a leader in that aspect, but
yeah, like if they come,
like she's the leader, but not an ex-leader.
I know you guys were still angry at me for my whole me wanting a Romy divorce, but would it make you feel a bit better if I said that in my fic I had Danny replace Colossus on the council?
I would have rather had him on the council to begin with.
Yeah,
me too.
Or her, excuse me, not him.
Yeah,
I mean, both of them. Yeah.
I just think Danny deserves some time to shine. I like what you're saying about like she's a leader, but not necessarily like the overall leader. And I just I think there's a lot of characters who have a lot of strengths and they don't get to be at the forefront of things. And like Rachel, where she's at, being like Ascani, let me get some more of that in my life.
At least, you know, if she's gonna be the mother Ascani again. He has time fucking abilities. Could we go sneak to the future back to where Cable's from? See, like, did anything change? Everything the same? Did anything we do actually make a difference in the whole long run? Because no matter what, she's destined to still be around 2,000 years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
As much as they might shit on her, she's still going to be around in 2,000 years.
Like, I like the idea of some of those key characters that have been at the forefront being mentors, but like, take some of those characters who have been working since they became mutants to train, like give them an opportunity to be at the head of the game, you know?
Absolutely. I have a silly one and I have a serious one. I'll let you guys pick which one you want.
Yes.
Okay.
Both. I want both.
Okay, all right. The serious one would be like I want Maverick to get his own book. I want him to be just a complete jerk. He does everything, and we get to see various sides of the Marvel universe with him.
Original Maverick, or do you want Bolt back?
No. Maverick. The Maverick we've been getting in
David North.
I said original.
Yeah. Just get this guy because he's a jerk. He'll sell anybody out for money, and I want to show, and I don't want to make him a hero.
He liked Bolt. He liked Bolt.
But... Yeah, Bolt was his protege when he was, because they were both dying of the legacy virus.
Oh.
I have.
They were friends.
Oh, I remember. But like with him, just show him being a jerk across, and just show him like he's kind of like make him what Deadpool used to be, back when he was just like a serious guy, but he's like a meaner Han Solo. He'll
so
save
you want
you,
him to
but
be
also
the John
he'll rob
Constantine,
you.
but like with guns?
No. He'll save you, but then afterwards he'll rob you.
I know what I said.
My silly one would be just a Wolverine family book. Just like Wolverine, he'll have 4 issues where he's with one of his kids, and it's just like
Gotham Family Adventures.
Kind of, yeah. Like the first one,
family values. Yeah.
The first one would be like Logan going to Madripoor with Gabby, but they're wearing matching patch suits in the eye. Like she's totally into it. And he's like, this is this is
You know
serious
what would be
business.
funny? You know what would be a great issue though? Everybody in the Wolverine family just dressing up in their Fang suits, and Gabby's like, I want one, because she's like
make her
the
one.
only Wolverine, that we
In
care about,
regards.
sort of, in the family to not have a Fang suit.
That's true.
Logan got one. Dakin currently having one. Laura had one.
Yep. And when they're in the Savage Land, when she came to like the X-Men after being in the was it the NYX series. Yeah, I remember that. That was so weird. That's when Rachel was a dinosaur.
But yeah, like just do some family stuff, like the Madripoor thing with Gabby, go on a hunting trip with Dakin, and do something with Laura, and do something with Talon, and just like show various parts of his past, like just something sweet. It doesn't have to have a lot of action. It just could be just talking. I want to see more talking.
Yeah, I mean, the Snikt family series, the vacation series, like that was so fun. I would love to see more Snikt family. That's a great. I don't think that's a silly idea at all. I think
It would be hilarious for Gabby and Wolverine Laura to interact now, since how Wolverine Laura is now like a clone technically.
Yeah.
And Gabby is like, yay!
I have 2 sisters.
And one of them's a clone, and no one is dead.
Hey, she got 2 sisters. All right, but first,
Technically,
ever survive the other one?
Technically, 3 if we count white-haired one, Belladonna.
That's the one from the all new Wolverine series, right?
Yeah.
I think Belladonna is in the new Gang War Saga and Spider-Man, and I'm like, girl, no.
Probably not. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Like, this has been great. Like, I like getting different various X-Men like minds on this. So thank you for taking time out of your Saturday. You guys are awesome. Rise of the Fall of House of X is coming soon. Like, what are your thoughts? Are you excited? 30 seconds. Go.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm excited, but
maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know what the payoff will be with Lorna coming in with her green Krakoa and Magneto suit in nowhere. I want to see where that's gonna.
Yeah, that actually will be really fucking cool, because once they tease that with Forge and M, and then seeing the cover with that upcoming, you're going, oh, this is gonna be marvelous.
Yes. My answer is anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wolverine War. Okay. I'm 1407 Great Malkin Lane. I'm here with the X-Men. We'll see you soon.